podcast cover art done right can attract new listeners. Watch this video to learn how to make a podcast cover that stands out. In addition to this being an eye-catching piece of art to attract new listeners, you also need a podcast cover image to get your show on the various streaming platforms like Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. So, creating a cover image should be one of the first steps of creating your podcast. You may be excited to dive into creating new cover art for your brand new show, but it's important that you don't start until you have a clear understanding of your entire show's plan. You want your cover art to reflect your show's tone, topic, personality, style, and genre. If your show is revolving around your personality, then you may want the focus of your cover art to be a picture of you. If your show is about a specific topic, then you want to design something that encapsulates that topic. If your show is promoting your business, then you will want to use recognizable fonts and logos. Before you get started, sit down and make sure that you know your show's angle, so that you can design your cover art accordingly. You don't want your cover art to appeal to everyone, you want it to attract your target audience. So take your audience demographic into consideration when designing your cover art. For example, bright colors may appeal to a younger audience who are looking for something fun and mindless, whereas a dark, formal style may appeal to business professionals seeking out a podcast on a specific subject. Keep in mind that your podcast cover art will have to meet certain requirements in order to get listed on the various podcast directories. Most directories have the same requirements for podcast cover art, resolution, and file type. For example, Apple Podcasts requires your podcast cover image to be a square image that's 3000 by 3000 pixels, a resolution of 72 dpi, a JPEG or PNG file type, and RGB color space. Make sure that your artwork is not blurry or pixelated. Most directories also suggest that your artwork contains your show's name in a large font, which brings us to our next point. Keep in mind that today's podcast listeners will experience your show on various devices. Some might listen exclusively on their mobile phone, whereas others will transfer between their mobile phone, their desktop, and even their tablet. So your artwork needs to be legible even at thumbnail size on a mobile phone. This is why a large font is best. A great way to check this is by exporting your cover art at 55 by 55 pixels to make sure that it looks good even at the smallest size. You'll also likely use your cover art as a thumbnail in various settings like YouTube, SoundCloud, your social media accounts, your own website, and even your business cards. Podcast cover art needs to work on the same level as your podcast logo and be consistent with your branding. You may be tempted to include a busy background or the name of the hosts, but remember, less is more. You don't want to cram too much information into a small space. Try sticking to 5 words or less and 2 to 3 colors. Not all podcast creators are graphic designers. Fortunately, if designing something from scratch seems overwhelming, then there are other ways to design your cover art. You can hire someone. Use a website like Fiverr to hire a professional to design your artwork based on your guidelines. Use a website with templates. A great option for this is Canva. All you have to do is sign up or log in and search podcast cover art in templates. Canva will have a bunch of cover art options to choose from that you can customize with your font, colors, and images. Some other great free template websites are Snappa and Stencil. You can also create through Anchor by Spotify. When you create your podcast through Anchor, you can design your cover art directly on the platform. Creating your podcast cover does not have to be overwhelming. There are tons of services out there to make the process straightforward and simple. Just keep your target audience and your show topic in mind and get creative. We hope this video helped you get started on creating your podcast cover image. And if you want to know more about how to start a podcast, then check out this playlist of videos next where we'll walk you through all of the aspects of podcast creation.